This story is definitely bizarre. So I'm gonna just put all the pieces together and you guys tell me what you think about it. Because this individual here was seen taking off in this individual's car, and now the police are looking at him as a person of interest.
Here's another look at this person of interest. Investigators believe he was driving Dr. Nick Abraham's car in Baton Rouge. We're told he sped away from a traffic stop and crashed before running away. Dr. Nick Abraham was found dead, wrapped in a tarp along Highway 51 in Tangipahoa Parish. Investigators say they believe he was killed Saturday evening and his body was dumped on the roadway overnight. Now, investigators say they're looking for this man. They believe he was spotted driving the doctor's car before crashing it near this business off Sherwood Forest in Baton Rouge and running off.
That he was a kind, loving, a gentle man, and frankly, not the kind of man that something like this would have happened to.
Abraham was 69 years old and was not just a therapist. He was also a minister, author, speaker, and recording artist. Jarrett Ambo says Abraham was his son's therapist about 20 years ago.
I'm absolutely devastated and completely surprised that something like that could have happened to a man who I believe to be so tender, so gentle, and have such a service heart.
Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff Gerald Sticker described Abraham's death as very violent and very physical, telling WAFB that Abraham died of blunt force trauma to the head, neck, and shoulders.
At this point, we don't know a motive. We know this was a very violent attack, and we don't know if it was, one suspect or multiple.
Sheriff Sticker says they have not recovered any murder weapons.
Now, the person of interest out in that parish in Louisiana, because I forgot their parishes, happens to be this gentleman seen here. People have connected it to this person seen here by the name of Mr. PRADA. He's got about 3.9 million followers here on TikTok. And yeah, the story is getting a little crazier because people think that that was his therapist and that something may have transcribed between the two of them. Now, when I went over to X, people said that Mr. PRADA had been posting SA awareness videos days ago, and then the therapist got accused of SA, connect the dots. Now, I didn't see anything where the therapist was being accused of that at all. So if somebody points me in the right direction, I like to read it. But this is what most of the rhetoric is being said online about the two. And I don't know if that was his therapist. Maybe it was. Maybe it was like, it had to have been, right? Because how else would those two have met? When I combed through his entire page, he just seemed like a normal young adult, like nothing out of the ordinary about him. I mean, his content was definitely geared toward kids, like young kids who, are into emo lifestyle and stuff, but nothing out of the unusual for TikTok and people his age demographic, Gen Z, if you will. And then the same for the therapist. I went through all his social media. He posts a lot about his music. He posts a lot about being a doctor. He posts a lot about his life in Louisiana. Like nothing on their social media feeds gave anything other than this is a adult professional and this is a young kid just making his way to adulthood. Like nothing out of the ordinary. I'm gonna keep digging because I find this story to be rather interesting in regard to what's going on out in Louisiana.